New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello. Thank you for that song because it makes me drop in to who we are. We are Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I am Robyn Rice-Olmsted, broadcasting to you live from Starbucks in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And I'm Natasha Wilson, Dr. Natasha Wilson, coming to you from Brisbane, Australia on like a super, super duper rainy day. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
You and me both. So we're just going to jump right in. I've had a fine day, totally normal, and it took Gil to work over at the new center. And, we were doing things, and then he decided he had to stay there longer. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go home and do the show from there, which is about a half hour away. But I was like, all my stuff's there. It'll be better. And as I'm driving, I remember about 2 blocks from home that I don't have keys.
Oh.
So I'm like, that's great. And then, so here I am at a Starbucks. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. There was a little bit of an echo earlier, but I can hear you just fine now.
Yeah, I don't have headphones or anything with me, so
yeah,
we're doing it raw today, folks.
Oh, wow. Here we go. Don't worry, I have cards, so I got that part covered for us. And
Excellent.
If I recall, we were going to sort of continue the conversation that we started last week. Other thing I want to say is I had this sort of revelation. Okay, maybe it's not a revelation, but I do not like to be on social media at all, as you know. And then I was
Wait, say that again. You don't like to be what?
Be on social media, right? So I've gotten rid of all my social media. I only have Instagram, and it's because Instagram won't give me my password that I clearly don't remember to reset it. And then I was like, how do I let people know that I do this every Thursday, Friday, and I'm not on social media? I don't know. I feel it. Anyways, it was like an epiphany, but then also like, I guess I should have thought about that a little bit more. Anyways.
Yeah, you have to talk a little louder today because you're competing with some band that's playing in the background.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I just want to say to that I think we're kind of both in the same dilemma. Like, I personally have been trying to at least check in on social media. Okay, I want to tell them all to keep it down in the background that I'm doing a show.
Okay.
Quiet on the set. Yeah. So I've tried to like check in just to be, somewhat connected, but it is hard. It's hard. I love my friends and my people, but I really don't want to chit chat. and I don't want to feel guilty when I don't answer someone back or something like that.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I think, it's interesting because I feel very similar. Like I was, I was with a client yesterday, and he's about to take on this new role, new position that he really wanted and he got, and he was, kind of worried that he's like an introvert, um, and that he wouldn't be able to be extroverted enough for the role. And I was like, anyways, it was a whole nother thing. But I guess the reason I'm thinking about that is because I just have a very insular life, and I love solitude, and I like my internal world, and I like hanging out with myself, and I struggle so hard with things like small talk. Um, and I understand what social media is. It's like small talk, but like on a global level, right? It's like people giving you glimpses into usually the happiest parts of their world, and that's nice. And for me, it's just, I don't know. I can't. And the way I noticed when I was engaging with it, the way I would like be on there, and then I look up and like an hour of time had passed, and then I was like also about to buy a wig because it was advertised. I'm like, I don't need a wig. What am I doing? You know what I mean? It's just like, but so it's just like
You
no.
you get caught in the spiral, the click spiral, the people. It just, I realized that I went on today to look up somebody's birthday. And I didn't get to it till like 3 hours later when I remembered I didn't find the birthday. And I had to go back. I was like, okay, because I got swept into whatever was going on somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a whole show. I mean, it's a whole show because so where's the metaphysical in that? What is the lesson? What is the gift? What is the all of that? And I'm gonna have to work on that one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to work on that one.
I think it is. I think it would make a really good show, especially when we think about these things that are called these parasocial relationships. I know what that is because I still need to do research because I still work with people who very much are involved in the world of social media, and some of whom are very well-known people. And so they have these parasocial relationships with people who sort of think they know them because they follow them, but like they don't really know them. And so there's this belief that they can sort of comment on their lives and all these other things. And then, because we've been talking about love and we've been talking about friendship, it does make me wonder, where do these parasocial types of relationships kind of fit into that? And yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. I'll just be honest, like that. It's just something I don't find I like.
Well, it's interesting because it really is an illusion, though. It's this illusion that so many people in different ways, and you know them in different ways if you read their posts or whatever, but some of them you don't even really know. You know what I mean? And so it's funny because when I looked on social media today, I was looking at that I have like 2,400 followers. And I'm following 850 people, and I was thinking, wow, who are those other people? And do I really know them? Or did I just click because they knew 100 of my friends? Or, and you have to battle with that because like some people know us from here. Some people know me from speaking somewhere else. Some people know me from leading a workshop, but I don't necessarily know who they were, so it's like that balance of, do I go with just the people I really know or it gives me a headache.
Yeah. I just don't do it. And I was just thinking about how I'm pretty clear that I don't do it. And like, what does that mean when you have a podcast? So anyways, that came into my mind. And Yeah, I don't know. I think as a
Yeah.
like a really neurodivergent person too, like I'm really neurodivergent. So sometimes things feel really literal to me. And so just the notion of like 800 people following me is very stressful. Like, please don't follow me. Like, just
Yeah, we might have to work on that. I think it's time to pull a card and see what the card's trying to tell us.
all right, let's see what the cards say. All right. Let's see what the cards say. And I'm still doing this Sufi tarot because that's what I have here on my desk. So you just tell me when to stop, and that is what I will do.
Now,
Okay.
so this is our card pull of the week that we allow to inform us and you about what's going on out there in our lives, in the world, wherever there might be, this might be a sign or a symbol showing up for us to learn something from.
All right, give me a second. Okay, so what came up was the 8 of Cups. Oh, here. I keep forgetting that I'm on a new computer, so the camera's back in the middle. But it came up in reverse. Okay, so I'm going to read the reverse and the upright. Okay, so upright, walking away, letting go, leaving behind the toxic, turning your back on negativity, searching for truth, also travel. Reverse can mean stuck in an unhealthy situation or stagnation, fear of change, staying on to please others, abandonment. So the 8 of Cups can be a confusing card. At first glance, it may seem to imply a lack of gratitude and appreciation and even allude to wasted. A deeper look, however, tells the story of a brave soul walking away from the from the tangible toward the intangible in the full trust, or this Arabic word tawakkul, that he is doing the right thing, right? And so turning away from the tangible world, moving to the intangible world. Okay. The message here is one of dignity, of honoring the self and having the courage to say no to material comforts when they come with a heavy, sinister price. It is about freeing yourself from situations that made you compromise your self-worth, about emptying the cup of the heart by removing the murky waters that clouded it. When this card appears for you, you are being asked, can you let go? Are you able to connect to your authentic self by saying no to that which weighs you down or weighs down your soul? Are you brave enough to say goodbye? Can you differentiate between abandoned success and self-preservation? The Sufis tell us that the heart is the altar of God. Are you allowing anyone to defile yours? There are many reasons people remain trapped in unhealthy situations. Walking the mystic path often means having the courage to leave behind situations or people that have the ability to trap, entice, or allure you. So here are the contemplations. If there is something in my life that I need to leave, the question is there something in my life that I need to leave behind? What does it feel like when I honor myself? And the affirmation is, I honor myself and move away from that which doesn't honor me with ease.
That was a lot. Yeah, so did anything come up for you?
I mean, in so many ways, it felt like what we started off talking about, like making a decision that, right? So like the way that I was engaging with, you're talking about social media. In a lot of ways, I did feel like when I engaged in it, I felt like stuck in an unhealthy situation, like stagnant, you know, I don't know. There was another part where it says, is there anything in my life that I need to leave behind? Am I brave enough to leave behind that which does not serve me? Like, I honor myself and move away from that which doesn't honor me with ease. And so it just makes me think again about the conversation we were having earlier, because what I realize is the impact of how social media was operating in my life. It wasn't operating in a way that felt like it was serving me at all. It felt like it was literally like sucking on my life in this really uncomfortable way. And again, with my neurodivergence and being like really literal sometimes, the thought of people following me feels like I'm being stalked.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, for me, I think that, were you complete for now?
What'd you say?
Or are you complete for now with what you were saying?
Yeah.
For me, I think yes, and it feels like a global card to me. I mean, it kind of feels like, on some level, what I feel like the world is being asked to do. And yeah, just, somehow we're needing to reorganize our thoughts on some level to return to love, at the end of the day. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like that shows up in so many ways. In the big way and in my life, I feel like it's an inquiry into just being sure that I'm taking care of myself, that I'm really doing what I need to do as opposed to taking care of everybody else, because that's my tendency to lose myself.
Yeah.
So really like calling me back to myself is what comes up for me.
Yeah. And when you say that, I think it's making me reflect on the part of the reading where it says, like, for the Sufis, right? These are the mystics. For the Sufis, the heart is the altar of God, right? And so how am I tending the way that I show up as love in the world? How am I tending that for myself? How am I tending it like beyond myself with others and in the world? And yeah, I don't know. What you just said just made me think about like the depth of what that means, that the heart is the altar of God. It just brings that sacredness back.
And what you said also makes me think, so I get your relationship, my relationship to social media, and so what's there for me? How can I embrace it? How can I love it? Even if that means watching somebody else do it for me, whatever it means, but how, it's there, and how can it support me as opposed to being like, oh crap, another thing to do,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because that's kind of the way I feel about everything going on in the world. Like, I have to look at it and go, okay, what do we do with this? What do we do with this? Why is this happening? Why is this, how do I move through this? So, social media becomes just another one of those things on some level. And I know somewhere in my being, I know that there's a lot of good. It's a lot of benefits to being, like I talked to a lot of people today on social media, or a lot of people talked to me, and I was like, oh my God, these are people that I never would have talked to again in my life, that have been in my life since elementary school and things, and it's like, that's so phenomenal in this world we live in today, that we are really still connected in that way, So anyway,
Yeah.
something to ponder. If you're out there listening, let us know what you think, what's going on for you. Please like our page and, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from and join in because we love to talk with you. And when we
Absolutely.
come back, we're going to talk about more brilliance than we talked about last week in Black history. I don't have my notes though, so we'll see what I remember. Because I was
All right.
very excited, and I'm so
Yes.
a little sad that I don't have them because I had so many good things I wanted to talk about and share. So let's just see. I'll channel during the commercial break. You get something to drink. I'll channel my last week's notes, and we'll see what happens when we come back right here on New Thought Media Network.
Sounds like a plan,
Please
friend.
help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network proudly presents the Science of Mind Saturday Conversations. Learn more about the Science of Mind philosophy, faith, and way of life. Join our team of experts for a weekly deep dive discussion. Come study the science of mind, chapter by chapter, and resources from the Science of Mind archives. Plan to join us every Saturday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on the New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Such a great song. Such a great song.
And we're back. We are Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I am Robyn Rice Olmsted.
I am Dr. Natasha Wilson.
And today we're talking about celebrating Black History Month and just the people who've made a difference to us and in our lives and to all of you out there, even though some of them you may not even know it.
Yeah. I don't know, when we were talking last week, we were talking about, some people who were like quite well known, a few who were maybe less well known. And for me this week, I just feel like I want to talk about it more personal in terms of Black history, right? And just really talk about how just in my own family, um, there's been so many people that um, that have lived like really full, really rich lives that challenge the status quo around race just in my own family. My aunt, who's now deceased, but the first, I don't know if you get registered, but ordained, sorry, the first ordained Black woman Methodist minister in the state of Louisiana. She had her own church in Chicago, and it was such a vibrant space. Like, I'm not Methodist or, whatever, but I loved going to her church. She actually was a part of getting Barack Obama elected. She was very, very hands-on and politically involved in Chicago. And she was just someone that I was glad was actually my aunt. She was my paternal aunt. And I was actually closer to her than like her brother, my dad, So, yeah. So I was just thinking about her and wanted to sort of like honor my Aunt Carolyn Stokes Lambert, Reverend Carolyn Stokes Lambert. She was a real mover and shaker and made a big difference in the lives of a lot of Black people and a lot of women, including mine.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, you actually made me think about my family. I mean, I thought about them, but I wasn't thinking about talking about them. But I think one of the things when people say Black history or anybody's history, what comes for me is just such a gratitude for people that I'm going to say went against the norm or the grain at the time and really fought to be who they are, to be their full essence, And so I think about my grandmother who had mastectomy, her breast removed, and this was way back like in I'm going to say the late 60s or 70s or whatever. I mean, it wasn't as much the norm as nowadays, and she then went around lecturing at colleges about it, and went out and went on the road and talked to people and talked to women, and and it's one of those things that, like, yeah, her name's not in a history book for it or any of those things, but like that was not the norm. That was not the norm. That, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so wonderful. No, I love this. Like, I really think I like this notion of bringing like Black history like home, right? Like, because I think about the mother of my aunt, right? My aunt, I just spoke about. So my grandmother, and not a lot of people would think that this is something to celebrate, but I think it's something to celebrate. My grandmother was a nurse. And so this was like, she was a nurse in like the 1950s, right? Can you imagine, like 1950s, 1940s, like she was a nurse. And because she was a nurse and she had a career, like there were lots of stories in our family about how my grandmother didn't take any crap from men. And so even my dad, who was supposed to have a different last name because of who his dad actually was, my grandmother was like fed up with him and just done. And so by the time my dad was born, she had given my dad the last name of man. So I was like, my grandma was out here being a feminist long before, right, there was even like a second wave movement. And she really did make a lot of choices that I think opened up avenues for people like my aunt, right? She wasn't perfect. You know, my grandma was a piece of work, from what I can remember. But she really was like this person who believed. And I remember her telling me this. I remember like loving knowing this story, right? That Blackness was about excellence. And she really, really drove that home. I did need therapy later in life so that I could just learn to just be a regular person and not feel like I have to like constantly like overachieve. But there was something in that. But then also, I grew up in New Orleans. So I grew up in a place that had several historically Black colleges and universities. I grew up in a place where the sheriff and the mayor were Black. Like I grew up where my principals and my teachers were Black. So I grew up in an era in New Orleans where a lot of people my age who lived in other places have that type of an experience. And it has really colored the way I see my life. Like I never really thought that anything was impossible. Some of that's my neurodivergence, like I'll name that, right? Like, but then the other part of it is no, I had these women, and again, they came through my paternal line. And again, I was closer to them than I was my dad. But even my dad, my biological dad, he was like in the Black Panther Party, right? Like he was, so even though he was like a misogynist, but like, you know what I mean? Like his mom was like feminist in her behavior. My aunt was in her behavior. And yeah, that's my legacy. And it feels good and it feels real, and I'm grateful. My grandma was talking about voting very early in my life, right? Like, not that the vote was the only way to engage with change in our lives, but she was very much like, when you turn 18, you go register to vote. It was like not a thing, right? It was not an option, right? And I think it is why my aunt ended up being so involved in politics, not just her spiritual community, but like Barack Obama and like that whole coalition of religious leaders that like pushed him, I don't know.
Well, I think it's interesting, when we talk about that, I'm thinking about like just the stereotypes and what people see in movies and what they may perceive to be, that of the African American spirit. And, sometimes, you see the downtrodden woman that can't get it together and is, or whatever, that kind of stereotype. But I mean, and the other times you see, the strong woman who's raised, all her kids on her own and blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying all that just because I'm thinking like about what you said. And I think, that's how I remember like the women in my family from, my dad's side that are African American were, they were strong spirited and very clear, on what to do and how to do it. And even if they knew they couldn't do it, they knew that we were going to do it. The next generation was going to do it. And it was like they were there to start the party, get them on the mission.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, all of it, from whether it was, sage advice like your grandmother gave you, or whether it was the way you said your grandmother told you to walk down the street.
Oh yeah, that's my other grandma, right? So that's which has she on a whole nother level. Like I love her, she taught me the Mississippi walk, honey. That's on a whole nother level, right?
But I mean that Mississippi walk was about a whole lot of things.
Yeah,
it was about owning it.
Owning your feminine power, owning your body, owning your hips, not shying away from it. Yeah,
just owning who you are.
Absolutely.
And
power of who you are.
And what I will say about other cultures, and I'm speaking from the I, because I'm many cultures, I'll say from my African American and my Latino heritage and my Irish people, it's so different because to me, it feels like they really love you where you are. Like when you were saying the Mississippi walk, I was thinking, girl, it doesn't matter what size you are, what none of that matters. It's about being you in your body.
Yep.
And not that that's not true for white people. However, there's a whole lot more marketing, it feels like, in what we're supposed to do and what to look like, and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting, but I mean, I'm saying all that just because I'm thinking those are really strong values and ethics and ways of being that we inherited from the grandmothers.
Absolutely. Look, to this day, oh God, I feel like I don't even talk about this time in my life because clearly I'm still healing from it, right? My time in the dance world here, I think because I just embody that Mississippi walk and I just embody like unapologetically my femininity. I love it. I don't want to be like masculine. I don't want to be a man. I like everything about being a girl. And I still walk into the room with the Mississippi hips. And sometimes, I realize like some people want me to just sit down, but whatever. The Mississippi hips still moves my life. Like her giving me that gift has stayed with me. And it shows up in how I walk into rooms to this day.
Right.
Yeah.
And who you're being.
And it's showing up in my daughters, which is that's a trip to watch. Let me tell you.
But it's good. It's good.
That is
good because especially nowadays, like I think that kids have their sense of self stolen all the time. And so I think it's good to have that strong sense of who you are.
Yeah. My daughters, let's not start about that because that's a whole nother, like I told you, I also went to therapy for that because I was worried, like, am I loving them too much? I was really worried. I was like, nobody told me this is what happens, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I just, oh my God, Robyn, I feel like I could gush and gush and gush and gush. Like just watching Macy sleep. This is about love, right? We're still Black History Month, February, Valentine's Day. Looking at my baby when she's just sleeping. I don't know. I just feel like, how can I love somebody?
Yeah, it's normal. But it's like when you're looking at love, when you're looking at pure love. I mean, there was nothing like it, and not to belittle what you're saying, but whether it's your daughter or whether it's your puppy or whether it's your partner, there are those moments where you can look at a person or a thing and be like, wow, just wow, and so connected to that love.
Yeah.
But I do want to go on to one other thing in terms of Black history, because the other thing that really has inspired me, and I know there's many more things that we could talk about, but in terms of what inspired us, but and I can't remember the exact name of what they called them, but all of the women that we never heard about until whatever, they made movies about, the computer, or, all of the women and people who, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say dumbed it down on some level and didn't need to take the, get the glory of that, but they were there working and putting in and being the brain behind the stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, we never would have made it to the moon. We would not have space travel if it weren't for Black women. Not only would we not have space, we wouldn't have GPS, which means I'd be lost everywhere.
No, we wouldn't have traffic lights.
Yes. I mean, let's
all inventions by African Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, but it's, and then I think
those particular things, space flight, GPS, Black women, right? And when you think about the misogyny, sexist ideas about women and driving and traffic, man, we got y'all to the moon and created GPS. So Black women.
You wouldn't have had that peanut butter snack either. That little protein packet. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's so much beauty. And this is the thing that sometimes when I think about sort of the struggles, the cultural struggles that are happening in the United States right now, they're really not struggles. I did watch I don't watch football, but I did watch the halftime show, the Bad Bunny halftime show. Man, we got the culture. This is the thing. We got the culture. And why would we not want to be embracing that as Americans? How beautiful and inspirational, I don't know. We got the culture.
Yeah, don't get me started on that, because it's I mean, this is not on the topic, but here we go. It's to me, I was, first of all, okay, I'm just gonna be real. It makes me really happy when sometimes when people are uncomfortable, white people in particular, because I say that with the thought of how uncomfortable they get when they don't understand the language, and when nobody's thinking that people that's been happening for years, forever, that people who are born in this country or whatever don't, maybe their first language isn't English. And so I think it's really valuable for people, it makes me smile when people are like, and he didn't say one word in English. Yeah. Good on him.
Yeah.
That's okay. Did you not get what he was talking about? Because it was pretty clear. He didn't need words.
It is more than okay. English, okay, I'm sorry. It is I'm just going to say that it is more than okay. And if anything, it should inspire us to really understand that that the places that many of us live was once Mexico. So this is the colonial legacy. So we speak different languages. Like the original language of this land was never one language. It came as a part of a colonial enterprise. There were all sorts of languages connected to different parts of different indigenous groups. Like I'm so happy. Like I don't personally know people who get offended or have to be around that, because I don't even know what to do with it. Like, to me, you know how I was saying earlier, how like small talk is like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if I would rather engage in small talk or be stabbed to death. And like, that's how I feel about having to hear someone complain about Spanish being spoken in the US, when part of the US, a large part of it, was Mexico. Uh-oh, so Robyn, something happened to my computer. Oh, but I'm back. I don't know. It was doing something.
Yeah. Well, but again, I think, this isn't new, and, somehow it's being called forth now. This is our growing edge time. This is the time, for people to really be aware. Yes, he did not speak one word of English, and yet there were millions of people that understood every single word he said based on their language. And there were millions more who understood that he was talking about love, that it was all about love and possibility. And
inclusion, and inclusion and variety, and it's exactly what it was. The altar of the heart. So when people sit with the altar of the heart, who cares if he's speaking Spanish or English? You get the message. And how could you not get the message with those beautiful visuals, right? Like, oh my goodness. I loved it. I really loved it. And I also loved seeing Cardi B at the very beginning. She didn't produce, but I saw it was like, Cardi. Anyways.
Yeah, I loved it. And I love that he included, Ricky Martin and Lady Gaga and a real wedding and the little boy. And all of it was just real and touching. And, and incredible. I mean, he was going through sugar canes and up on poles and over, it was it was impeccable. It was amazing.
Yeah. And how much of that is a part of Black history? His very identity exists at the intersection of Taino, African, and European, right? Like, that's where Spanish comes from, right? From the European, right? So it's like, this is also a part of Black history. And I think that was the other thing that I loved about it, is that it was so inclusive, because even sometimes still when people think about Latino, Latina, whatever, Latinx, they don't think of people who look like this, right? Or people who look like you. But that is, to me, that is what Blackness is. It's like, it's an inclusive space. You can look like this and you can look like that. You can even look like Robyn Michael, and it's still called Black, right? Like, so it's just an inclusive category. And so what he did was showcase that inclusiveness, and I just love it. I love it.
I'm with you. And I think, again, whether it's Black History or Latin American Month or whatever it is, it doesn't matter, because it's really, it's about that. It's about love. It's about the culture and just celebrating all that's been done and the diversity of it. And everybody's struggled. Everybody has gone through a struggle. And, and here we are. And I'm so amazed that I can be broadcasting to you from Starbucks.
And like, here we are. All of us been through so much. Like, when we think about, like, we're talking about Black history, but the fact is, so many of the people who came over from Europe came over to escape oppression, right? Like when I think of, and like to be here now and to still be able to love under all of the inhumanity that tried to like squish out our humanity, and not just Black and brown folks, even folks who weren't once considered white, right? The Italians were not considered white when they first came. Jews were not considered white when they first came. The Irish for sure were not considered white. But through all of that oppression and pushing down of the human spirit, here we are, still loving. Man, that's power. I don't know. I now feel inspired.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. So it's, I think, part of the message is really, it doesn't, I mean, we're honoring Black history, the same way we'll honor other cultures throughout the year, but we're honoring Black history. And the thing is, it's all of our history on some level, because we're dipping into it all the time. And that's, for me, that's the thing. It's like, that to me is about the oneness, not meaning that anybody has to lose any of their cultural stuff. You don't have to let it go. You don't have any of that. But celebrating our diversity, and yet knowing that at the end of the day, we all bleed blue.
I hear you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about my family. Now I'm thinking about my great grandma on my dad's side, because that's where I know more of the stories about those people. And even my great grandma, like, she, from my understanding, married a Black man so that her kids could be considered Black. She tried to pass for Black so that she wouldn't be taken to one of those reservation schools, right? So like, there's so much history and overlap there between all of these cultures that we think, are so separate and distinct, and they're not. So,
Right. But for
okay.
today, with our 1 minute left, celebrate who you are, celebrate who we are, celebrate life and all the things that these cultures have given us, because it's a lot, and I know I'm grateful.
Amen. So am I. I'm going to do the Mississippi walk all day today.
All right. So I'm going to go continue my birthday celebration in the car, since I have no house keys to get back in.
Right. Happy birthday, Robyn! Happy birthday, sister!
Okay.
I told you happy birthday yesterday, when your birthday was yesterday in Australia. I forgot that it's today in America, though. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Well, all of Starbucks has just now told me happy birthday, so there you go. There you go, world. So anyway, so join us next week when it won't be my birthday, but we'll celebrate like it is anyway. Okay.
I love you.
Everybody. Have a great week. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.